So we are going to start the Danish Gambit now. So let me just start at the beginning so everybody's on the same page, and then we'll jump into some more, advanced stuff. So Danish Gambit is d4, and the point is not that you want to take this pawn back with your queen. This is the center game, and if you do that, then you lose a tempo on your queen, and it's kind of like playing the Scandinavian for white, except you have this move thrown in, which I don't know. It's not like necessarily the best for white. So the point here is that we want to play c3, and the Danish Gambit accepted is when black accepts it, and then the main line here is bishop to c4. And so you're giving another pawn, and if black takes that, then you recapture with this bishop. And the point here is, well, first of all, we've traded 3 pawns for 1 pawn. So this is an interesting gambit in that you give up 2 pawns. A lot of other gambits, you only give up 1 pawn. So like King's Gambit, you just sacrifice the F pawn. Queen's Gambit, you just sacrifice the C pawn. Danish Gambit, you give up 2 pawns, and you're not going to ever get those 2 pawns back. But it's totally fine because you're getting all sorts of compensation. So you have 2 bishops developed, and you can see black's pieces are just chilling there. And so you've got both bishops. You also have lots of open files, and your queen already can go everywhere. So like this, tactics along this diagonal are super common in the Danish Gambit because you've got queen d5, threatening mate. You've got queen b3, which a lot of times can double attack these pawns. You have this, so it's not easy for black to just develop this bishop because of that. So there's a lot going for you when they decide to accept the Gambit. Now, one thing that is unfortunate if you're trying to play the Danish Gambit is when you play c3, a lot of stronger players won't accept it. Okay, if you remember the video that I did on the 8 chess concepts where I talked about if c3 then d5, this is when most strong players will just play d5. And actually, what I will do here is I'm going to change this to Masters games. So right now I have it on everybody. I'm going to switch it to Masters, and let's see what the most common move is. Yeah, the most common move is d5. So at the lower levels, most people will take it, right? So if we go back and we switch this back to just kind of like all rating ranges, see that d takes c3 is the most common move. But at the higher levels, pretty much everybody just knows to just play d5, and black gets a pretty nice position. So that's the only downside to this that I would say. But it's totally playable. I mean, I play the Danish Gambit from time to time at 2200 level and have decent success with it. So, but if you're lower rated, you'll have even more success because most players will probably accept it, and you can get a really nice aggressive position. All right, so questions on the basic idea before we kind of jump into some specific lines. Queen e7. Queen e7 right now? Interesting. So we'll have to check that line out. That seems like it's pretty rare. Yeah, it's way down the list here. Okay, yeah, queen e7. Yeah, that looks actually pretty interesting. So we'll come back and maybe check that out later. So that's the idea. Now let's go ahead and look at some of the, let's go ahead and start with accepted, okay? Because this is the fun stuff. So you play bishop c4, and we'll say they accept both pawns, and you take back. And so, you know, if you check like some of these most common moves, look at the win percentages on a lot of these moves. 56% for white, that's really good. 55%, 59%, 58%, 58%. Very high win percentages for white. And you'll notice the lowest one there is if they play d5. So even kind of at this stage, a little bit late, d5 is a really good move. And basically you're giving back a pawn so that your queen now becomes active and this bishop becomes active. And you're not completely stuck with like no options. If you try to hold on to everything, it's very dangerous. Now, one thing to note, Stockfish says minus 0.6. So a lot of times, this is pretty common in gambits, computers like playing the side that accepts the gambit. Because with perfect play, you're probably going to be able to defend, and then you're going to come out up a couple pawns. But in reality, most players, unless you're like a grandmaster or you've studied a particular line, most players have a hard time defending positions like this. Okay, it's very difficult to defend. So practically speaking, I think white does very well. So let's just start with some of the top lines and see what happens here. So bishop b4 check, and you've got a couple options to block with the knight. Most common is knight c3. What does Stockfish like? Stockfish likes knight c3. I think, yeah, I mean, both of these have advantages. So knight d2 is okay because you leave the bishop lined up on g7. Knight c3, you know, you're threatening knight to d5 later once you get out of the pin. So I think that's the idea there. I believe when I used to play this, I would play knight to d2. But they're both playable. So let's check knight c3 because it actually looks like knight c3 performs a little better. So knight c3, and I'm going to go for the common move here. So knight f6, okay. And then bishop takes f7 is the most common move. So you have the tactic here to win back the piece. Yeah, Stockfish doesn't like it. I don't think it's the greatest here, and I think there's a reason for that. Let's see. King takes, queen b3, d5, takes, knight a6 or knight c6. Knight c6 looks more logical. And then you have to move your queen somewhere, queen a4, and then black just takes the pawn. Okay, so basically, the reason this is bad is because now black actually has a more aggressive position than we do. Even though, yes, black's king is a little bit, unprotected there, now our pieces aren't really in a good position to attack it. And we have to be really careful. Like, this rook's coming over to e1, and black can just go back to g8, and it's kind of like black just castled. And our king is stuck in the center. We didn't develop this, so we're not castled. And so, even though, if we go back, you have a little tactic here that wins back your wins back a pawn, basically, it's not the right time. So that's something when you play the Danish Gambit, you have tricks here, but you want to make sure you're playing them at the right time. If you do it too early and kind of simplify, trade off some pieces and give black, the advantage, that's not going to help you. So bishop takes f7, even though it's most commonly played, is not the best move. e5, knight e2. Yeah, knight e2 looks like a good move. I think this is a move I would play. Let's see, why doesn't Stockfish like that one? Stockfish is saying queen b3 is the way to go to keep the pressure up. Let's see what happens here. Okay, because it just allows black to castle and you don't have a good follow-up, so... Oh, that's minus 0.9. Let's see, let's check queen b3. Okay, so this seems like a little bit more aggressive, putting pressure here, so it's forcing black to trade. Okay. Queen takes c3. Interesting. So most common move is bishop takes, but it looks like queen takes c3. Number one performs so much better, 57%, but also Stockfish likes it a lot better. So queen takes c3. Okay. So you have this battery. Also have this. What's most commonly played? Castles. Okay. And then just developing knight f3, d6, and castles. Okay, so this is a pretty standard position for the Danish Gambit. You know, you're down those pawns, but you've got all your pieces developed, you're ready to attack, and black is still trying to catch up in development. And so this is pretty standard. The issue is that there's lots of ways that black can go wrong and make mistakes. So like, what's a good example? Like, I feel like rook e8 might be a mistake. Let's see. Yeah, that's not awesome. E5 is what Stockfish is saying. And then if you capture, the rook can come in. And this is super hard to play for black. Like, I would never want to play this from black. Like, look at this position. Like, this just looks super scary. You've got all kinds of things happening. Like, okay. So bishop b4 check, I think, is pretty common at a lot of the lower levels because it's like, hey, it's a check, why not? So knight c3 seems to be the best option. And then after knight f6, you can just, you don't want to go for the sacrifice, even though you can, and it's most commonly played. That's not the best way to approach it. Queen b3 is the best, basically, to force black. And let's just see, what if black tries to not... Yeah, no, I mean, they pretty much have... Let's see, what about queen e7, actually? So queen e7 tries to defend both. And then you just have to develop, I guess. 92 is what it's saying. Okay. And then what if castles? Just castles. Alright, so it's kind of the same idea. Basically, queen goes to b3, develop the knight, and you castle. Let me read some comments. Okay, so people keep talking about queen e7, so let's check that line. So queen e7 right here. So it's not played a ton. Yeah, that actually has good good win percentages for black. So bishop d3, just defending the pawn that way. Wow, d5, 60% for black. I don't know that I've actually faced this before, this queen e7 move. Let me see at the master level. What's played here? Oh, it's like never played. That's why. It's only been played 15 times? Okay. That makes sense why I've never seen it before. Bishop d3 and then d5. So this is pretty rare, but yeah, it looks good for black. Looks pretty strong. So if you just take it, takes, and then bishop c2, f5. Knight c3, yeah, that's a solid line for black. So if we're playing this as white, how can we mix it up and do something different here? What I'm thinking is, what if we allow black to take that with the idea that we're gonna try to gain some tempos on the queen later. So, oh yeah, maybe bishop e3. Stockfish likes that. Okay, bishop e3. Knight f6. Then can we just do something like knight c3, bishop b4, maybe bishop... I guess we can't do that. Queen d2. Yeah, that's a good move. That's a really good move. Anybody who plays the Danish, have you ever faced this move before? Like, I know Jay plays it. Have you faced this before? Anyone else face this move? If you play the Danish as white? I'm just curious. It seems pretty rare, but looks pretty strong. You've never faced it? Okay. Oh, it's a newer recommendation? Yeah, I see why. I see why. Definitely see why. Most people against me will play d5. Or sometimes they'll take and then play d5. Like, takes bishop c4 and then d5. But it's actually pretty rare that you get double, accepting both pawns. So, honestly, the takeaway from this stream so far for me is, if somebody plays the Danish on you, play queen e7. I mean, looks really good. The point is, the most natural way to defend this pawn is with knight c3, which also kind of prevents d5. But you can't do that. And so black can simply go here, play d5 next, pile up on your pinned pawn, right? I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but really good. So, Okay. Now, I guess what we'll do is focus on the newer players. So, you know, if you're kind of on the lower rated, like maybe under 1200, most people aren't going to know this. Probably aren't going to play that. So you're probably going to see this. So we'll go a little bit more with this accepted. So on bishop b4 check, we already talked about it. Knight c3. And if knight f6, queen b3, and then you take back with the queen, create this battery, develop, and castle. That's your plan. And then you look for tricks, you look for tactics, and you look for ways to be aggressive. Use your open files with your rooks, and pay attention for tactics. Okay, that's the game plan if you're going to try this as white. Let's go back and look at the second most common move. So we've got d5. Okay, so we looked at bishop b4. Now we have d5. So against d5, you definitely don't want to take with the queen, because trading queens eliminates a whole bunch of pressure, right? If you're playing a gambit to get an aggressive position, don't trade queens. So that's not an option. Taking with the pawn doesn't look good because you're blocking your bishop. And that's like one of the most aggressive pieces that you have in a lot of e4 openings. And so if you just block it with your own pawn, probably not the greatest. So really the only move here is to capture, as far as I know. So take with the bishop. And then let's see what's most commonly played here. Knight f6. There's a little trap on c6. By the way, you can take here, and you've got the queen, so they can't take your bishop, or the queen is gone. So that's kind of the immediate threat that black has to deal with. So knight f6, and you're probably thinking, well, can't you still just do the same trick? Not quite. And the reason is because now the rook is able to attack your queen with the discover check from the bishop. And I guess you have to go back and then takes and takes, and you get this position. So what is this? 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. 3 pieces, 3 pieces. Basically an even endgame with a weird, yeah, somebody said a weird queen trade in there. And basically equal. So, are there any other lines that white has here? Let's see. Yeah, knight c3 or knight e2 says Stockfish. Okay, so I would say knight c3 if I'm playing this. So if you don't want to trade queens, which, you know, I would say unless you like that endgame, I wouldn't want to trade queens. I would do something like knight c3. And again, if something like c6, you still have the same trick. And now black doesn't have this because there's no check because your knight is blocking it, right? So knight c3 is probably the way to go here. And then let's see, what's the most common? Knight takes d5. Okay. Knight takes d5. And now c6 is played. This is the most common move. Is that a mistake? I guess this is a little trap. Knight f6 check. Yes, this is bringing back some memories. So, captures, captures, captures. That's pretty cool. King c7, and you take the rook. So, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. Yeah, you just win the exchange. It's pretty good. So you have 2 pieces. Black has 3, but then you have the extra rook. So that's a good one to remember because it's played quite a bit. So after d5, you take with the bishop. After knight f6, you play knight c3. And then takes c6 looks very logical for a lot of players to attack the knight. But it's not good because you've got that little trick. So definitely want to remember that one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Is this a good opening for a beginner to learn? Yeah, this is better for beginners than for higher rated players. The higher you get, the less effective the Danish Gambit becomes, but at low levels, it's awesome. For sure. So, all right, we looked at that. Let's say we get to this position and they actually play a good move. What's a good move here? Knight d7 is Stockfish's move. Not played a lot in actual games. More common is bishop e6. And you have the same exact trap. That's funny. That's funny. So, interesting. So basically this move here is a threat against a lot of black's moves. They're not going to want to move this bishop most likely because of that, which means this becomes an idea, this becomes an idea, there's the trap, and so Stockfish's move, because of those reasons, is knight to d7, because you're still developing a piece, and you're stopping the trick. Now we can't do that, or black just takes it. Okay. Yeah, so knight d7 seems to be the only good move for black in this position. Yeah, anything else is bad. I mean, I guess there's other playable moves, but it's not awesome. Like knight c6 looks like it's playable. Then you have queen h5, and yeah, that looks like a rabbit trail. So anyway, let's go back and look at one more popular move. So we've looked at bishop check. We've looked at d5. Next on the list, we have knight f6. which is actually the Stockfish recommended move. Okay, interesting. And then e5. Okay, so we're chasing the knight somewhere. Most players will play bishop b4 check first. Okay, which makes sense because you want to put a piece here, maybe the knight, and then you can attack it. If you don't do that and you move the knight there immediately, then white can do this little trick if they want. Takes, you come here, you get the fork, and this looks pretty equal. But to avoid that, most players probably will do this. Although, actually, now that I'm saying that, does that even avoid anything? Let's see. Knight c3, knight e4, you can still do that. What am I even saying? You can still do that. And it's better for black. I mean for white. It's better for white now. Interesting. I'm learning as we go along. So king has to move. Let's say king e8, and then you take on e4. Okay. So the takeaway here that I'm seeing is on knight f6, you want to play e5, and then be on the lookout for this tactic after they move the knight. So if they do that, you can do it right away. Or if they throw in the check first, you block, and then you can do it. And that's pretty good for white. What's the rating range of most viewers? Bob, I think when I did the survey on, like I did a poll a while ago, most of my subscribers were between like 12 and 1600. So yeah, right around 1400, I think, if I remember correctly, was the most of them. And then it was kind of a standard deviation, nice little bell curve based around 1400, if I'm not mistaken. Jay says, let's see queen e7 after it's accepted. Okay, yeah, let's look at that. So what point? Like right here? Queen e7? I assume. Alright, queen e7 right here. Looks like knight c3 is the move. Which makes sense, you're defending the pawn. Yeah, that's why, like, earlier queen e7 was, I think, a lot stronger, because we couldn't play knight c3. Now we can play knight c3. And defend, we have this. Yeah, only thing now for black is to play c6 to stop that. And now knight f3, okay. Yeah, we'll do a game in just a second. I'll try to play the Danish. I can't guarantee that I'll get one, but we can try. So knight f3, and then what's the move? d5. And Stockfish says bishop d3 is better. Interesting, because if you look at the percentages, white doesn't fare very well on bishop d3, even though that's what Stockfish says is the best. And now it's changing its mind. Interesting. D takes e4. Let's go a little bit further. f5. Castles. F takes e4. Why does Stockfish like this and it doesn't turn out well for people? That's what I'm wondering. Knight a6. Rook e1, and here's the interesting thing. Both of these games that have been played with rook e1, black won the game, even though Stockfish says it's great for white. Why is this? Bishop e6. Oh, because nobody played bishop f5. That's why. They played other moves. All you have to do is play bishop f5, and now white's just winning. Or knight d4. Okay, somebody played knight d4, so let's see how this game went. The person castled long. Okay. White must have missed the tactic here. Queen f3 was played in the game. Okay. Knight h6 was played, and I want to see what went wrong for white here. Rook a to c1. Black played bishop to g4. Knight takes c6. How did white lose this game? That's what I want to know. Bishop takes f3. Check. King d7. I realize we're going pretty far, but I'm super curious how white lost this game. Bishop takes f3. Bishop takes e7. Bishop takes g7 was played. Oh, it's one of the top moves, so we'll go with that. That's fine. Bishop g5 was played. Rook b1. So the move was rook c to d1. So it started to fall apart here. This is interesting because black has an extra piece, but Stockfish likes white because of the open position, both rooks, both bishops. Huh. So, rook c, d1 check, king c8. What's the idea here? Now rook to b1. Yeah, this is tough to find, but basically there's too many threats. Black can't deal with everything. There's this, and there's this, and then there's this, and lots of stuff happening. All right. Anyway, all that to say, basically what you want to remember is against this queen e7 line, go back to d3, and when they take here and play f5, you let them take the knight. You castle, let them take the knight, and just take it, because then you're going to go over here next. You can see the power of getting your rook on an open file so early. Really, really good. So, people are saying that they want to see me play, so that's what we'll do. We will play some games. I think we covered a good amount. So let's see if we can play some games, and hopefully we get white and we'll play the Danish Gambit. I mean, I can't force it on anyone, but we can try. So, let me do this for a second. I'm going to go with 15-10 again. I think that's a good time. Oh, play a sub. All right, let's take a vote. Do you want to see me play a regular online game or play against a subscriber? I'll let you guys vote on that. Subscriber or just someone online? What's up, Benz? How's it going? What's the requirement to become a national master? Wedgie, you just have to get 2200, your rating. So for me, I'm in the US, so for the USCF is the United States Chess Federation. You just get that rating above 2200 and you get the NM title. Okay, everybody says play a subscriber. So yeah, somebody challenge me on chess.com. Challenge me as black, and I'll play the Danish Gambit. All right, we got X-Rage and O and J. Okay. Are these rated games? You guys are doing that again? Or did I accept a 1 minute game against someone? Zerby, how could you do that to me? How could you do that to me? Alright. It's my fault for not reading. Alright, we said knight c3 was the move here. Alright, Jay's doing unrated. Appreciate that. Queen e7 now. I'm about to run out of time here. I need to finish this game. Stop switching. I gotta change the settings. Well, there goes 16 points. Guys, don't challenge me rated games, please. Alright, unrated. Okay, so you're not supposed to hang your bishop on c4. That's not how this is supposed to work. All right, I think let's just do 2 games right now because I want to actually talk through the process, not play a simul. So I'm gonna decline any more challenges right now. Yeah, they chose bullet. Everybody who's been following me knows that I usually lose a lot of points when I stream. Okay. This game, we lost the bishop, but we have counterplay now because we have this open file. So I have this discovered check. So let's find a good place to do it. Here or here? I like this, and then maybe going here next. Knight d5 also looks good to open up this. Let's go, let's see. Actually, I'll go here. I'll go here. All right. So usually when you have a pin and someone's trying to castle, what you can do is put enough pressure on the piece that if they castle, you just win a piece. So I'm gonna move my knight here because it's pinned and also it attacks it again. So that if they try to castle, well then I'm just gonna take the piece with my, I'll have 2 and only 1 defender. So now, kind of stuck in the center, it also opens up the bishop. And so even though we lost the piece because I was playing that bullet game, we have a lot of counterplay. So this looks like there should be some tactic here. So that's an option. The question is, which way is better? If we take with the knight, we can get another discovered attack. Also prevents black from castling. This also prevents them from castling. I'm not sure if there's a good follow-up. So I think I like the knight a little bit better. Then we can also go here and trap the rook. So we'll take with the knight. Okay, this game, we just looked at this and we said knight c3 was good, so we'll play knight c3. Okay, so this looks pretty good. Then the rook is basically trapped and has to go here, and then we can probably drop the bishop back here. I'm just looking if there are any other moves that make more sense than that. I don't really think so. I think that looks pretty strong. So we'll do that. What do you think the most important part in the game? Opening, middle, or endgame? I think the middle game. I think the middle game is most important. If I had to order it, I would say middle game, then opening, and then endgame. Knight f6. So I think we said captures was not the best way to approach it. It was better to play queen b3. So I'll go with what we just studied. All right, so now I'm gonna go back here to f6, creating this discovered check threat. And it's not easy for black to deal with because the king is stuck. He can't just move the king out of the way. All right, so this is a good position. What's the best move for white? What's the best move for white and why? You have 4 minutes to solve it. Go. Yep, you guys found it. That's a pretty cool mate. Big thanks to X-Rage for letting us do that. Thanks, man. All right. So I'm thinking, like, I can do this, and then after queen takes, we can take here. But I'm pretty sure that was what we looked at, that the engine said wasn't great. So I'm not going to do that. I want to play a move like knight d5. Now I can't, right, because I'm pinned. So I'm thinking I need a castle. So probably want to bring this knight here or here. I'm going to go here, just to kind of defend this knight and set up to castle. Yeah, so if we go back to this game for a second. So I was playing that bullet game. I messed up here and kind of blundered this piece. Now, interesting thing happened. Even though I blundered the piece, because I was making like developing moves, it turned out okay that I got this threat. I think, yeah, this move was a big mistake. So X-Rage, couple of problems with this. Number one, you're moving a piece that's already developed on a good square. Like that bishop's already doing a lot of stuff here. So you don't want to waste time moving that when you have bigger problems to deal with. So like knight here probably would have been a good move to get out of that discovered check, and then you can maybe castle. Or even, you know, d6 so that you can block later with the bishop would have been okay. But that was where the game kind of went wrong for you. Let me go back over here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I think we're gonna just go with the. Oh, hold on a second. I just noticed that if I castle, the knight can go here and fork a bunch of things. Probably don't want to let that happen. Let's see. The only thing I'm thinking is after takes, knight captures the rook. Do I have some, like, trick or something aggressive that I can do? Rook e1? Maybe. But there might be an easier move, like maybe just bringing this rook over. Let's see. Here. Takes. Knight takes here. Trying to see if I can take advantage of the fact that this king would be still in the center. So I think it'll be instructive because you want to look for opportunities like this to be aggressive and go for some sort of attack. And so even though I'm not sure if it works, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to castle knowing full well this is probably coming next and see what we can do. The big reason I'm doing this is because once my king's out of the center, his king is not. Even if I have to sacrifice some material to get my rook lined up with the king, like we saw in the last game how strong that is, right? So that's what I'm trying to do here. So I'm thinking here, takes, knight takes, and then maybe rook e1, just going immediately for the king. Big thing that to point out here is that my queen is covering this square, so Jay can't just castle and get out of it. So that's why I'm doing it, because the king is literally stuck in the center, and I'm going to get my rook there ready to go. So okay, so he's going to do that, and I will take here. I guess king f8, now that I'm looking at it, is a move too, which I probably should have thought about before now, but we'll just go with queen d5 if that happens. Okay, so he's going to take it. I don't want to trade queens, so I'm going to go for this. And then after this, I could take it. I could play rook e1, or I could move the knight first with the idea that rook e1 comes next. Like knight to d4, setting up for this. Rook first looks pretty good, but also I could just move the knight somewhere. Maybe here. I guess there's knight e3, just giving back the knight to close the file. But then I have the rook potentially coming here, which could also be good. I kind of like that, setting up to bring the rook over, because how is he going to stop that? I don't really see any good ways. So let's try that. Let's try that. I'm going to play knight f4. And what I'm trying to do is, number one, bring a piece closer to the king. But more importantly, I'm opening up this square for the king. And, you know, this is a weird move to make because there's a knight just sitting here. But basically what I'm saying is, getting pressure on the king immediately, I think, is more important than taking the knight. Like, yes, it's a knight, but my goal is not like to try to keep the material even. My goal is to win the game by checkmate, or maybe if I win a queen or like some really big piece, right? But that's my goal, so I'm gonna ignore that for right now and just go for this. And I'm not like super GM that I can tell you this is absolutely the best move. I'm just telling you my thought process behind like why I'm doing this, and we'll see after the game like if it's actually the right choice or not. Okay, so I want to play here. I'm just gonna start calculating like what's gonna happen. Well, he's gonna move here. That's pretty obvious. I can go there. If queen takes, well then I'm gonna take it. I'm happy. What if pawn takes? Do I have anything? Doesn't look like it, because then it opens up this square and you can just block. So I don't want to do that. Okay, so rook here, king here. What moves do I have? There's knight b5 also. Knight d5 I could also play instead of the rook to threaten this. That would open up the bishop. Could lead to some more tactics becoming available. Black actually has some threats too that I'm looking at also. Like this knight is being threatened. And if I move it, there's potentially, you know, that. So knight d5 is kind of interesting because it defends my knight and also attacks here. Also defends that square so that this becomes more interesting. So maybe knight d5 is good. I think this looks pretty strong. Let's try that. So I'm trying to just keep bringing pieces forward, keep creating more threats, and be on the lookout for a game-winning tactic. So a checkmate, or if I can, you know, win a queen or win a rook or something, that would probably do it as well. And even though I'm down a rook, like there's 3 pieces just sitting over here. So, I mean, yeah, I'm down a rook, but I have more pieces that are doing stuff than black does. That's kind of the point. Thanks, James. Appreciate it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a, like, if Stockfish finds a way to defend this, but it's really tough when you're playing this position for black to find, like, good moves. Okay, so knight c6 seems good. It's attacking the queen, also kind of defending that. He's letting me take this. But then after king goes over, I do have to deal with the queen. So let's just check. We have rook check here. But then if the king moves over, I'm not really sure how I'm going to follow up. Takes, king there. What about knight here? Pawn takes. Rook can come over. Bishop d7. Takes, takes, takes. King there. Takes here. Oh, that's a little bit complicated. Let's try that one more time because I think I might have messed something up. Here, 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 here. So I'm giving up one piece. Then I'm bringing my rook over. Expecting bishop d7. Then I'm giving up another knight. If queen takes, I'm going to get a rook back. There's also like just moving the king over. I don't know if that makes sense or not. We'll see if there's any other moves. Let's see. Check. King here. Where can I move the queen to? Takes, king over, maybe queen d6. I feel like this is a good first move. And then I'm not sure what the follow-up is, but I think like that's good. And maybe queen d6 next. Let's see. Let's do that. I think this is good. I want to save some time. Okay, so obviously the queen is under attack. You know, there's moves like capture this and then take the rook, but that doesn't make sense. I'm on the offensive, so I don't want to trade queens like that. Queen d6 looks good because it blocks this pawn, so he can't get this bishop out. Defends my knight. Lots of threats. I don't think this works immediately because takes. Rook comes over, bishop d7. Oh, then there's this move though. But then rook b8. I could take that because that's pinned. This is super complicated, and I only have 2 minutes. So what I'm going to do for the sake of time is go here. But I have a feeling there might be some sort of trick here that I'm missing. But I'm just going to go here because it looks... it looks better. And if there's a little trick there. I'll let you guys find that one if you want. Somebody says use the bishop, Bob. The problem is my queen was under attack, so I had to do something about my queen. Okay, somebody's saying I missed a fork. No, so if I take here, queen takes, and knight here, black has 2 pieces that can capture it. So he's going to take it, I'm going to take it, he's going to take it, and I lost. So that's no good. Yeah, the knight is trapped, but that's kind of like, it's not irrelevant necessarily, but it's not the top priority. The top priority is finding checkmate or winning a queen or winning a rook, but most likely I'm looking for mate here. I'm threatening mate in 3. Yeah, that's a big threat right here. 1, 2, 3. So I don't know, how does black deal with that? Doesn't look like it's easy to stop, actually. Maybe rook e8. Yeah, at least looks like he might be able to survive. So if I go there, captures, queen just takes. So that's no good. There's always this rook. There's this rook. If I take this one, king takes, then I have rook here. Looks really good. What if queen takes? Then I can take this pawn. Also looks really good, because then I can come back and do this. So even though it's not like a free rook, I think I like this better, because this rook's out of the game anyway, right? So let's do this. Hope that made sense to everyone. That rook is actually doing stuff, right? Like it's controlling all these squares. I don't want that to be doing anything. This rook is not doing anything, so fine. I'm continuing with the plan of going for checkmate. So if king takes, the rook's coming over. If queen takes, then like I said, we have this move, captures, and then the bishop can come back and come over. So looks pretty difficult for black. Okay, so the point here is once I take that, the bishop is basically almost threatening mate. And if that gets pinned, black's not going to be able to move any pieces. So I don't even think I need to consider anything else. Like this doesn't quite work because the queen just takes it. So we'll just take this. This is the big threat, which black can't really stop. And after blocks, then the rook can come over. Actually, no, if the knight blocks, this is checkmate. What am I saying? So that's the idea. 1, 2. Everything's like pinned. Yeah, I don't see any moves for black here. I don't see any moves. So, one thing I'll mention, if you can ever blockade a D or an E pawn at the starting position, so like this, a lot of times it's really, really good because the bishop gets stuck, and if the bishop's stuck, so a lot of times the rook is stuck, and so by blockading a pawn like that, you're kind of trapping a bunch of pieces. Okay, so that doesn't really stop this. It does create a space for the king to go to, but I still want to do that because then I can bring the rook over, and we're still going to have a pin on this knight. Oh, he's going to block first. Okay. Let's see. So that doesn't work because the queen covers. So that was a good move, actually, because the queen covers the square now. So I guess we have to go rook over here. Let's see. Is there any other moves? Are there any other moves? Maybe knight d5, but since I'm running out of time, I'm just going to bring this rook over because I know that that's going to be a good move regardless. So we're just going to take the knight next. We have 3 pieces and black only has 2. So that's the plan. Can't move. This can't defend. This can't defend. This can't defend. Yeah, this knight on f1 has been here for a while. It just goes to show that, like, in games like this, tempo is more important than material, right? Like, you have to be quick with whatever you're doing. You have to be really fast. Because even, like, one wasted move changes everything about this position, right? Like, Black Knight protects the back rank. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Alright, so we're going to take this for sure. Taking with the rook looks pretty good because it attacks the queen, also sets up a discovered. But then again, just taking with the bishop forces the king over and sets up a discovered here. Yeah, so they both look winning. I'll just do this one because it's pretty forcing. And if this happens, well then, you know, I'm fine with that too. Alright, so if we take this way, the king runs over here. If we take this way, the king can't really run. Bishop can't move, or we have mate. Also threatens mate, so I think rook is better for those reasons. This is the threat, and there's no way to stop it. If that, yeah, then this is just mate. So, really good instructive game, I think. Thanks, Jay, for letting us do that. Let's go back and look at this one because there was one moment in particular that I really want to make sure we highlight. So, let's see. Jay. Okay, so yeah, right here, guys, I think a lot of people probably would have, you know, said, all right, I want a castle, but if I castle, there's a fork, and then you know, that just doesn't look good. But I was thinking, okay, there's a fork, but I can do this and maybe take. even though I'm losing some material, what I was noticing was, okay, my queen now controls this diagonal, so they can't castle. That's a big deal, because if that king gets stuck there, and I can get this rook over, that's really, really, really strong. Like, usually that's worth sacrificing a piece, or even, like in this case, a rook, right? Like, we never took that knight back, and it didn't even matter. So I think that's, you know, I'm not Stockfish, so I'm not like 100% sure if that was the best move. But the point is, those are the kind of things that you want to think about if you're playing a game, if you're playing an opening like the Danish Gambit. So right here, and then here I'm just kind of making logical moves, right? Like I'm bringing a piece forward and opening up a file to attack the king. And again, this is super important. Not allowing black to castle. Remember, you can't castle through check. If this queen wasn't on this diagonal, everything about this changes, because now black just castles and my rook's not doing anything. And the king can kind of hide and everything is good for black. So, super important. And then, you know, just like looking for ways to bring more pieces in. There was a threat here. And so this move was cool because we had an attack and a defense, right, at the same time. So that's usually pretty strong. And then remember I said if you can blockade a d-pawn and get the bishop and rook stuck like that, it's usually really, really strong. So, and that's what we saw here, right? And then it was just kind of piling up on the pinned piece. And so, yeah. What if bishop takes f7 before castling, someone said? Right here. Yeah, so before castling, actually it doesn't look like it works at all because there's a threat here. This is going to be bad for us, I think. Maybe it's playable, but it's probably not as good. It's better to get your king out of the way, and then plan on getting your rook lined up. So, yeah. Thanks, Jay, for that game. But that's that's what you want when you play the Danish Gambit. Just be really aggressive. Don't be afraid to sacrifice some material along the way. Look for checkmates. Look for threats, and that's kind of what it should do. So. I'm going to take a 5-minute break and then I'll be back and I'll just play some games and we'll just kind of talk through them. So just give me like 5 minutes. All right, we're back. I'm just gonna play probably some faster games. Play some 5-minute games. See if we can get over 2,300. I'm gonna play g6, bishop g7. Oh no, queen a5 right away. Interesting. Very early for queen a5. A lot of times I like to play d5, kind of cramp black's position a little bit. I think I will do that. Put the bishop there. Probably just knight here and castles. Looks good. Don't want to get stuck in the center after black's castle if he tries to like open it up. So we need to get castled pretty soon. Yeah, so he wants to play d5. Let's see. If I castle, is there a tactic here? Sorry, so takes. I'm thinking after I move the bishop, then there's d4 and I'm losing a piece. That's what I'm afraid of. Is there any way out of that for me? I don't think so. So I have to be careful. That's the threat. So this is like a proactively defensive move because I don't want to lose a piece. So at least now I have time to deal with this threat, right? Otherwise my bishop would have been under attack. So I'll trade and then I guess I have to move this. It's not ideal, but this is a big threat. There's a pin here and a fork. So this is not, so I did something wrong here, clearly. I should have been castled sooner. Yeah. That's bad. That's real bad. So we're kind of in a jam, but let's see if we can figure out a way out of this mess. Alright, well I like that because now I can at least castle. So I think that was good for us. Now we can tuck our king over here if we need to. Gotta get the queen into a better spot. Let's go here. Maybe we can do this trick later if the knight moves. No? Okay. Let's just put the rook here. Queen can come over here, maybe. All right. Am I worried about that? A little bit annoying. If I want to get out of the pin. And this is covered by the knight, but I have to pay attention to that. Yeah, he wants to do that. See, he wants to take and then go here, right? So I'll go here. Because I can just recapture with the knight, still control that square. And I may play king h1 next just to get any of these ideas out of the way. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. General rule is to capture towards the center if you're not really sure of a good reason otherwise. Okay. Hmm. I think I'm going to trade this bishop. But my bishop's kind of like blocking all my pieces, and so I think I want to just trade it so that my rooks can do stuff. This, no, okay. This is hanging, so we got to deal with that. Let's go here, I guess. Maybe c4 next to defend that. Like rook a5. It's kind of an awkwardly placed knight because it can't go anywhere. But I do have c4, which should be good enough. Okay, gotta play a little faster. Trying to make that well defended so I can do other things with my other pieces. Is there a tactic here? Looks like it. I'm gonna take this next. Maybe double up. Maybe king g2 to defend that. Maybe c5, knight b6. Let's go here. This looks good. Knight wants to go there. Or there. Oh, I can't let the knight get there. That's too strong. That's too strong. We gotta stop that. He's still gonna go there, but it's not as bad for me. That looks like a fork. What is that move? Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's the threat. Oh, I can't move that. I wanted to move my knight. That was a funny game. Wow. I bet you didn't think I was gonna win on time. I bet no one saw that one coming. This is usually a good thing to do. Get rid of that bishop when it's being shadowed like that. Hey, thanks, Andy. Appreciate that. Glad you're learning something. Alright, so we got rid of the bishop. That's good. Now we can play something like h5. Let's do it. Actually, I'll go here, trade that. Don't really want to let him take that, so let's play d4. Opens up this diagonal for the queen. This is the idea. I don't know where this knight's gonna go. If it goes there, do I have something with a pin? F3, I guess not. I could go here and win a pawn. Yeah, it's a fork. Would I rather have that or play h4? This looks good. I think. Actually, maybe not. Hold on. Let's see. F3 takes queen a4. There's b5. Looks like I could get into trouble. Let's go for this. Let's just be aggressive. It's a blitz game. You gotta go for the king and blitz. Yeah. Queen d5 was definitely my second choice, but I'm gonna be aggressive. e6. What? I guess takes. Or I can do queen d5 now. Takes. Knight check. Takes. What's the idea after I take here? What are they gonna do? Knight g5? Ooh, no, then that. Okay, I'm gonna take it. I don't see it. Queen here takes. I don't really see a follow-up for white. Oh, maybe queen a4. Ah, yes. Well, I'm still up a pawn. So, I guess it's good enough. Queen takes, then I have f5. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I'll take my pawn and be happy. Thanks, James. Appreciate that. change the board to blue. So I've noticed that when I change the color of the board, it like affects how I play for a little while until I adjust to it again. And I've been on this ICC color for a while, so I kind of don't want to change it unless I absolutely have to. That looks good. All right, let's go for this. And then we'll defend the pawn over here. With maybe the knight. I don't really want to block the bishop, but I'm worried about playing king d7 because like e3, rook. I'm a little bit worried about that. So let's just do this. I don't might care if he goes there because I have this move. Okay. That's the threat. I guess we have to play that now. Guess we have to. I don't really want to walk into a discovered check. So here? Ooh, that's nasty. That's nasty. Gotta go here. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. This is getting bad. This is getting real bad. It's not worth a pawn. This was not worth a pawn. And that's a piece. I just hung a piece. Ay, 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 ay. Okay. Okay. Can we bamboozle our way out of this one for a second game in a row? It's unlikely. We're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna give it a shot. That's kind of trapped. Kind of trapped. Oh, it's a fork. Oh, wow. I can't take it. I can't take it, guys. Maybe I can, but it's not going to end very well for me. Maybe I can trap the knight. That's my plan anyway. Maybe we can get some sort of crazy back rank mate to win. Maybe. Oh, so much for that idea. No back rank mate without a rook. That's for sure. Oh, well, I was going to resign, but he didn't take my knight. Hey, thanks a lot, James. Appreciate the super chat. Glad you're learning something. Flag him. Yeah. All right, let's. We were just about to do it. We were just about to get over 2,300. Losing that piece was too bad. It's hard to come back from that. I think I know why I'm losing. I didn't eat enough of these. All right, here we go. Whoa. I don't think that's very good. Is it? That's defended. What's he gonna do now? I'm just gonna develop. I'm just gonna develop. No. I don't think I'm concerned about that. Sorry guys, I'm almost done. I do have to watch out for that move. So maybe... let's bring the rook over. Oh, hold on a second. What about b4? What happens on b4? Okay, I think we're okay because we can do this. I think. I think. Let's get the bishop out of there first. Oh, that's hanging. Oops. Oops. Oh my. This is scary. Oh, he just takes it. Oh boy. Losing on time, losing on the board. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. This is my last attempt at a swindle. No, can't even swindle because it's check. All right, here we go. Bishop b5. I'll be embarrassed if I lose this one. Rook c8's a weird move so early. I don't usually see that too often. Usually, it's good to play e5 in these positions. So we'll do it. So that's the threat. If he tries that, I have a little trick here. I guess he saw it. I guess so. Does this move work? Takes here. No. Okay, maybe I have to do this then. That's the trick. There it is. How about that? That was a sneaky one. It's a little bit sneaky. Now let's try not to lose on time. Let's try not to. I want to go here. Let's get the bishop out of there. Let's see, can we win this pawn? I'm gonna flag if I don't hurry up. How do we make progress here? Maybe I can get a pawn here. Oh, there we go. I think that was a blunder, right? Yes. Yes. All right. He's usually eating fruit snacks. Yes. But it's not the Mott's, it's the Welch's brand. It's Welch's. Close. You're close, though. Maybe we can play e5 now. Look at those pawns. Look at those pawns. I played a brilliant move against you? Wow. What move? What move was brilliant? Just going for that pawn. That's all I want. Just want a pawn. It's not going to give it to me. Oh, castling into the triple fork. Yes. That's pretty cool. Why can't I think of a brilliant move now? All I can think of is double pawns. That's all I can think about. All right, I have a plan. Let's try to maneuver some pieces over here. I want to go for an attack on the king. Yeah, he's doing all this stuff over here. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go like this, maybe. Yeah, look at that. All the pieces are leaving the king side. Which means, here we come. Oh, that was guarding that pawn, wasn't it? No matter. Does not matter. G3, what a move. I don't think that's good. Take it, yes. Yes. There's gotta be something here. There's gotta be something here. Do I do this? Rook b6, queen here. Okay, let's try that. I don't need those pawns. I don't need any pawns. Nope. I don't need them. But I do need to use one of these rooks. Wow. Wow. Alright, maybe I needed a couple pawns. Maybe I needed a few. Can't even move here. Wow, this guy is good. I want to see the accuracy on this game. I'm just curious. Game report, what is it? Yeah, 90.5. Wow. He had 21 best moves, 12 excellent moves, 2 inaccuracies. It's pretty good for a 3-minute game. It's pretty good. Okay. Apparently we need to play better if we're going to win these games. To play more accurate. I was like 50 that game, so that's not going to cut it. This is not going to cut it if we're going to get past 2300. This is good. I almost want to sack that and play rook there. But I don't think it's quite good enough. I don't think it's quite good enough. I'll just do this. I want to try to get both rooks there. Okay. Bishop's good because there's pawns on both sides of the board, so the bishop's strong. Like if we trade rooks, we should be fine here. I can almost take this. It's probably not quite enough. Okay, so now we can play b5. Oh, we can't anymore. Can I win this endgame? Maybe. Running out of time, so I'm gonna go for it. I think the this pawn should be pretty strong. Yeah, this is gonna win. Now we're gonna win, I think. Little trick. It was a trick. It was a trick. Kind of a weird game. Alright, all we have to do is trade the queens and win. That's it. Trade the queens and win. Or just get another queen, I guess. There we go. Oh, I did not mean to play e3. It's okay. We'll make it work. We have a Queen's Gambit. We now have a Queen's Gambit, which I don't usually play. Guess we can go here or here. Trade that. That's pinned. Alright, we'll play g4. I think we'll take this. Let's see. I think we want to open this up for the bishop. So that's pinned. And if this, we got this, and then we have a really strong bishop. Okay. I'm gonna try to force this trade so my bishop becomes active. Okay. Well, this looks like where the rook should go. There we go. This looks good. Let's get this rook into the game as well. That's not pinned anymore. Opposite bishops is good for attacking, so let's trade that and try to do something here. Maybe this is a good plan. Okay, so we have to deal with this. This is my plan. Ooh, gotta be careful. Gotta be a little careful. Although, I think we can just go here. No. That rook's hanging, so we have to go this way. But we can just defend, I think. Oh, my rook's gonna be hanging. Ooh. Okay. I didn't see that. I did not see that. Wow. Wow. Oh. That's how you throw a one game. Then there's this move, winning my queen. Man. F3 was bad. That was really bad. Ouch. All right, guys. Any last questions before we call it a night? I'm gonna stop playing. I'm not playing very well, so I think I need to stop. Any questions? My accuracy that game was 25. 25. Do you see that? That means it's time to take a break. That's what that means. Time to take a break. 2 blunders, 2 mistakes, 4 inaccuracies. Yikes. Yikes. Question, why don't I reply to you? Because probably didn't see it. Honestly, I haven't seen a lot of questions. So yeah, no problem, Harry. JM, that's a normal accuracy. Yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there. Am I famous? I hope not. I don't want to be famous. I didn't start this YouTube channel to become famous. I just wanted to teach some people chess, and it kind of exploded the last couple weeks. So James, recommend books? Yeah, so I have a couple on in the description on my videos. If you scroll down a little bit, those are like the main ones that I pretty much used growing up. You don't need a ton of books. I think you just need to play and analyze your games a lot, and then read a little bit of books is the best way to do it. Lots of playing, practicing, and analyzing your mistakes. That's, at the end of the day, like, chess is about not making mistakes and noticing patterns and little tricks and things along the way. So you'll get pretty far just learning that. Is National Master considered a real title worldwide? Yeah, so it's like if you become 2200 in your federation, so I'm in the US, so if you get 2200, they just give you that title. So it's one of the easier titles to get. International Master and Grandmaster is much more difficult. Why do I have a random chessboard in the background? Because I wanted to put something instead of a table. I actually have my chess pieces. I used to have these back there, but I just was switching it up. But sometimes I'll put those over here instead, like that. I think people like that better, but I don't know, I was just changing it up. Andy, no problem. You're welcome. How much in real life chess do I play? Like none right now. I guess people are playing now again after COVID. You know, everything kind of stopped. But I haven't played a game over the board in a while. It's actually one of the things I want to do. Try to record some footage of that and post a video one day, but life's a little too crazy right now. When did you become NM? I became a National Master. It was somewhere around, let's see, like 2007, 2008, something like that. I was like 2100 when I went to UTD, and then I got the title while I was there. I should use that king, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've gone to chess clubs. I used to play a lot like before, and then I graduated college, got married. We have kids now, and so I kind of went to a different phase. I think a lot of people think I'm younger than I am, but I don't have a ton of time to play. When I do have free time, I usually try to make videos and post videos. So yeah, that's where my free time goes right now. I'm hoping if the channel keeps growing, maybe I can quit my day job at some point, and then I would actually have time to probably play some real chess, go to some tournaments and stuff. That'd be cool. So you doubled your rating. Nice. Nice. You can keep doing that. What? Yes, I'm married. Yes. Awesome, Steven. Glad you're learning. All right, guys. I need to go sleep, and I'll see you next time. See you next week. And yeah, take it easy. Stay sharp, play smart. Take care. My thing was a little off there. Stay sharp, play smart, take care. There we go. Yep, 27. That's what everybody says. 27. All right, guys.